Okay, a question that I get from a ton of you is, where do I start if I want to start a podcast? And I love when answers are simpler than we expect them to be. So I want to tell you about a resource that's changed the game for us with our podcast, and that is Spotify for podcasters. If you want to start your own podcast, Spotify has a platform that makes it so easy. You upload your episodes and then Spotify actually distributes it everywhere onto all platforms and even helps you earn money so that it can be profitable for you and a blessing for you, your family, your people. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit your podcast literally from your phone or your computer. So if you don't have a fancy setup, it's okay. You can immediately get started today. Then again, you distribute it to Spotify and everywhere else that podcasts are available. You can also do video podcasts, which sounds like a dream to me. And when you want to take conversations with your people to the next level, you can do Q&A and polls, all sorts of fun things. You can earn money with ads and podcast subscriptions, or you can just get started using what you've got for the good of others and the glory of God. Check out Spotify for Podcasters. I use it. I love it. I highly recommend it. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app. I have it on my phone, highly suggest, or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started today.
Welcome to the Go and Tell Gals podcast. I'm your host, Jess Connolly. I'm an author, a Bible teacher, a coach, and I'm obsessed with helping women take their place in the kingdom and use their God-given gifts. At Go and Tell Gals, we equip and encourage women with different tools like our Map to More guide, our group coaching program, Go Teams, and even by training other women as coaches through our licensing program. Whether you're a college student, a stay-at-home mom, a small business owner, an astronaut, or a veterinarian, our goal is that you leave this episode feeling more empowered to do what God has called you to do. We're so glad you're here and we're on your team. Let's jump into this week's episode. Hey ladies, welcome to our Monday mini podcast. This is the one where I tell you that I have a very weird favorite verse. Well, it's not my absolute favorite verse, I won't lie, but it is definitely up there, top 5. Proverbs 14:4. Where there are no oxen, the trough is clean, but increase comes by the strength of an ox. Where there are no oxen, the trough is clean, but increase comes by the strength of an ox. Here is what this verse says to me. Where there is increase, where there is strength, the trough is not going to be clean. You are going to have a mess. So here's where I ask you, do you feel like your life is a mess? A lot of times, a lot of days, I perceive that I have the option to have a tidy life or a fruitful one. And I know that I could spend all of my energy making my life look like I have it all together, or I could spend my days using what I've got for the good of others and the glory of God, and that might mean that my life, my house, my situation is a little untidy. It's fitting that this podcast is going to come out on a Monday because I like to call my house on Monday Dirty. And Monday Dirty is so different from Thursday dirty or Friday dirty or Tuesday dirty or even Saturday dirty. Monday dirty is specific and special because my husband and I both lead at our church. And so we leave our house. I leave my house usually at the latest by about 7:20 on Sunday mornings. He usually leaves a few minutes later. Our kids leave with us if they don't leave earlier. Sometimes one of our kids has to leave a little bit earlier to run sound at our church. And we pop back by our house around 12 to let our dog out and and check on things. And then we go to one of our favorite parts of the week, which is my mom's house for lunch. And lunch usually turns into early afternoon hangout, and we're there till 4:00. And then we come home and my kids have youth group and I have Bible study, and we get home at 8:30 and we realize that the week starts tomorrow. And we start passing book bags around and making lunches and trying to get dinner in our bellies and trying to figure our life out. And even though the day before was Saturday and everyone did their chores and the house was tidy and put together, all of a sudden, everything is a mess. And so Monday dirty is a special kind of dirty, because also in our life, we don't really have the option for a slow Monday. It's a jam-packed Monday. I run a small business. I have a team meeting. I usually go on a run. The kids get to school early. It's a whole thing. And so Monday, I come home and it's time for dinner. And I am like, did somebody break in? Did we have a robbery? What is wrong in here? There's coffee mugs. There's book bags. There's a random shoe. There's like dirt from where we let the dog out and he got into the dirt that afternoon. There's somebody's homework on the table. There's my homework on the table. What is happening in here? And I could be just frustrated as all get out. And I could feel just wild shame about the state of my house, or the state of my tote bag, or the state of my kids' rooms, or the state of my car, or even the state of my email inbox. Or I could say, where there are no oxen, the trough is going to be clean. But increase comes from the strength of an ox. And I believe right here that God is bringing harvest, that he is bringing fruit, that he is teaching us, that he is guiding us, and that we are pressing in to what he has called us to. And so I am going to throw off the feelings of shame or even sometimes frustration about the messy stable and put my eyes on the hope of harvest. Do you want to live a tidy life? Or do you want to live a fruitful one? Now, listen, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have your rhythms in order, that you shouldn't have healthy routines that keep you functioning. Absolutely. Listen, by Tuesday, I want my car clean. By Tuesday, I want my house picked up. By Wednesday, I want the laundry done. I want to put it back together. I got to think straight. But I know that sometimes in the thick of it, it's going to be a little bit messy. And there are often wild, miraculous bits of fruit in the mess. So I don't want to get distracted by complaining about them or by feeling like just because there's a mess here, God must not be moving. I don't want to believe that lie about my life. I don't know what kind of way you're feeling this morning. Maybe you feel a way about your house or your car or the state of your tote bag, or maybe you actually just feel like your schedule's a mess or your emotions are a mess, or maybe you feel like your team that you lead is a mess. And I just want to say, not only can you talk to God about it, and not only can you get insight and wisdom from him and press in, but also you can throw off the shame. Because where there are no oxen, the stable will be clean. But increase comes from the strength of an ox. It's okay if it's not that tidy. And just because it's tidy doesn't mean it's a mess. Just because it's not tidy doesn't mean it's a mess. I pray that you would experience God's peace even in the middle of your messy Monday. I am grateful for your friendship and the fact that we are running on mission and encouraging one another together. God is mighty in you. It's time to go and tell the good news right where you're at. Bye, friends. You are listening to the Go and Tell Gals podcast. You can find us at goandtellgals.com online or Go and Tell Gals on Instagram or Facebook. We would be so honored if you had a minute to leave a review wherever you've listened to this episode. Share it with your friends and let us know that you're listening. We're so grateful for you. God is mighty in you.